Okay. We are live. Let me know, first of all, how well you guys can hear me, how well you guys can see me. I'm doing this on my webcam, unlike my usual spot, because I figured I want to spend a few minutes and, I wanted to, on today's live stream, share some photos, which is hard to do on my cell phone, or at least I have a hard time doing it when I'm mobile streaming, and talk about some other stuff within Freemasonry outside of, or basically sharing photos, sharing info, sharing notes, stuff that I have a hard time doing on my mobile phone because I have a hard time sharing the screen. So we're doing this on my webcam, which again, it's been a minute or two since I've done a webcam live stream. So please take a moment, jump in the chat, say hello. As always, for the first hour or so, it's going to just be general conversations, nothing specific, and then we're going to go into specific topics, which is going to be me sharing my social media, particularly me sharing my Instagram and talking about there we go, me sharing my Instagram, me sharing some things I'm excited about, which is coming up, some pictures I'm excited about, basically me sharing what I have coming up that I am most excited about when it comes to Freemasonry. Also, let me know what you think of the sound quality here. Hello, Texas Freemason. I hope that you are doing well. I'm going to do another poll question. Let me just see. Do you prefer live streaming? If I could get this set, live streaming on mobile or on webcam. Hello, Mr. Keeps. By the way, Texas, Courtney, I resent your package and I tracked it, and I will send you the tracking number via Instagram so you can track it as well as the through the Canada Post app. So it's supposed to be there in 7 to 14 days. And like I said, I've got it set. Well, you should. Your sleep is the most important thing, Mr. Keeps on Ticking. So for heaven's sakes, get yourself to sleep. Don't stay up till 1 in the morning on my account by any means. Oops. I messed up my I messed up my poll question. Let me change that. I realize what I did wrong. Let's see. We're going to ask this poll question again. Do you prefer streaming on mobile or webcam? Webcam being this way. And then the options are mobile, webcam. There we go. Starting that poll once again, but the proper way this time. Alrighty. So jump in. Let me know how it's going. Like I said, this first hour, just hang out, wait to see who joins. The second hour is going to be sharing my Instagram, sharing some of my different social media sites, particularly what I am most excited about when it comes to Freemasonry and what we have coming up. One jacket. Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Keeps on Ticking. Thank you so much. And as always, I hope everybody is having an absolutely awesome day. I got to say, it is as beautiful of weather as you could possibly imagine here. After not very much enjoying the summer by any means so far because it's been so hot, actually having the chance to not be, be able to wear a sweater outside is particularly awesome. So when you say the quality, do you mean the quality of the sound or the quality of the video or both? Because definitely I think the video quality is better on mobile. But what about the sound? Okay. I wonder if it's the gain thing on this microphone. Oh, there's different, yeah, Freemasonry, Alonzo. When I talk about Freemasonry now, I talk about it in an umbrella term because there are so many different Masonic bodies, groups, organizations. There's the organization of, there's the Order of Women Freemasons, there's Eastern Star, there's York Rite, there's Scottish Rite, there's Shrine, there's Blue Lodge, there's Prince Hall, there's Allied Masonic Degrees, there's Demolay, there's Rainbow, there's, it's hard to keep track of it all, to be perfectly honest. Which is why it's so important when you think of Freemasonry, you think of it first and foremost as an umbrella term that references not a particular organization, but rather references an umbrella, a bunch of different organizations, all of which are connected through recognition and regularity, and all of which trace their origins in some way, shape, or form to the stone mason guilds of the Middle Ages in Europe. Well, I don't know what makes them perverts. I've known some grotto guys. They're good dudes. Grotto is just it's kind of an offshoot of the shrine. Uh, I've not been a member of the grotto. I've actually known a couple of grottos restart, or members who tried to restart grottos. It's basically just a drinking and social club. Um, it's kind of the focus is on the fun, getting together for dinner and drinks type thing. Unfortunately, as Freemasonry goes in decline, kind of the offshoot groups, if you will, or the affiliated groups start to decline even quicker. So the Grotto was kind of one of the first groups to really suffer, as is Eastern Star, but now a lot of the appendant bodies are as well. But I mean, I don't know if there's even a grotto in Ontario now. There was, like I said, a couple in Michigan, to my knowledge. I know they were trying to restart one here or sorry, they were trying to restart one in Missouri when I was there. And there we go. Sorry about that. So they're trying to restart a lot of these different grottos and different organizations. Um, the more you have, right, the better. The more these organizations and groups that we can get developing, I think the better it is. So yeah, I like the grotto. Yeah, clandestine Freemasonry does seem to be growing. Uh, I think describing it as off-brand is not a bad way to describe it, but I think that the reason I have a couple of theories as to why clandestine Freemasonry is growing. I think a big part of the reason is a lot of clandestine lodges are more free because they're not under the auspices of a Grand Lodge. They're more free to um what's the word I'm looking for? They're more free to they don't have to operate under a set of rules and conditions that can sometimes limit Freemasonry. So, like for example, those rules exist for a good reason. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to have those rules, but it does create limits, right? So, for example, you can recruit easier if you are a clandestine lodge. You can also make promises that whether or not you can keep them, who knows? But you can say to people like, join our clandestine, join this Masonic order, and you'll get rich, you'll get famous, we'll give you money, we'll do whatever it is. Now, whether they ever follow through on those things, they probably don't or won't or can't, but they can still make those promises, whereas we in Freemasonry cannot, because we are, we should hold ourselves to a higher standard, and B, the Grand Lodge will come in and say, all right, we're going to take your charter. There's way more work in being, to my understanding, in being a quote unquote legitimate Masonic order, in that, I mean, the Grand Lodge expects you to fill out forms every year, to do paperwork, to have insurance, to get dispensation. Like if I want to hold a special event, I need to get dispensation. There's so many things you have to do, so much work you have to put into it, that comes from your Grand Lodge. Whereas clandestine groups aren't operating under those things. It's a bit the same reason why, this is a very general statement, but why podcasting in some ways grew leaps and bounds ahead of quote unquote legitimate news organizations like CNN, Fox, MSNBC, because Fox, MSNBC, CNN has to answer to board of directors, they have to answer to journalistic standards, they have to answer to shareholders. They can't just say whatever they want and, you know, quote unquote get away with it. Whereas podcast is not operating under any of those restrictions or limitations. They can say whatever they want. They don't have to fall back on journalistic integrity. They don't have to fall back on things like sources or on the record or off the record. They don't have to answer to shareholders. They don't have to, you know, have the same expectations of what is a journalist. They can just, you know, say whatever they want and then retreat behind the idea of being a comedian or being not a legitimate news source. And as a result, because they're not operating under the same restrictions as everybody else, they are able to kind of grow in sometimes what somewhat more dangerous ways, but also in, I would say, much more what's the word I'm looking for? Much quicker. And sometimes in some ways also much more profitable because they have so much less overhead than, you know, your typical, let's say, CNN. You're not wrong, Ryan. They have been getting sued, but even then, podcasts seem to be much more immune to getting sued than, say, legitimate news organizations or legitimate news sources. Um, like Newsmax, CNN got sued, Fox got sued, had to spend a lot of money. And from the podcast realm, I know that Alex Jones got sued and was taken for a lot of money, though I don't think he's paid any of it. But because there's also collections issues, right? When you're a podcast and you're an individual, you can sometimes be much more judgment proof than if you are, let's say, a corporation like CNN or Newsmax. But yeah, hence why you always need to get insurance, you know, for any of this. I have insurance for my online activities, as everybody should. Oh, I think about Smokey the Clown. And by the way, we've got 5 votes, 6 votes. Looks like the mobile is far more popular than the webcam, so I may be sticking to the webcam maybe sticking to the mobile in future situations. I saw the hearts. It's nice to it's always nice when I get the hearts. By the way, very soon you and I are going to be rocking out with the live stream. That'll be on my personal channel. My personal channel, youtube.com/Cameron Adamson. So that should be really, really fun. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, tell all your friends to join us, to hang out, to, you know, to enjoy the company. Yes, 3 days away, which is absolutely crazy to think. Time is flying. I did not realize how quickly time would fly by. So hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. And like I said, everybody, I hope that you will tell all of your friends, tell all of your, you know, family members, me and Smokey hanging out together. For heaven's sakes, you know, join us for that. How often do you get the chance to see me and Smokey the Clown in one stream? I will be sharing some Instagram pictures because there's some stuff I want to share, and I thought the best way to do it might actually be via Instagram. Hence why I'm doing this stream, or why I'm doing this on the webcam, because I think my social media streams, or sorry, when I want to share social media, sharing it via, like it's hard to share my screen on mobile. I kind of much prefer to use this type of format to share my screen. About time. Whoever's doing that, thank you so much. It is much, much appreciated. Like I said, hitting those hearts, it's a little thing, but it matters. It's the same reason why liking the stream matters, why commenting on the videos matter, why doing all of that stuff matters. By the way, I am working on another podcast episode. This time it's with Brother Dion from Texas, from Tejas. He is in the insurance biz, and he has been working very hard with the Grand Lodge of Texas and many Masonic bodies within Texas in order to assist them with their insurance needs. Like I was saying, it's not that Freemasonry is not insured. Freemasons do have insurance. In fact, one of the requirements in Ontario every year is to prove to the Grand Lodge that you have insurance, both for property and for liability, which is a good thing. However, it's still a matter of you could always do better, and the type of insurance you have could always be like, again, I brought the example of it, right? I'm almost, every Masonic lodge that's legitimate in Ontario should have property insurance. Within that property insurance, do they have a special section where they're listing items of historical or special value? Are they getting those items separately appraised? Do they have a list that includes a picture, an appraisal, and a description? Because again, if your property insurance is, let's say, 100 grand, but you don't have any of your specific items listed, let's say there's a fire and you lose all your items. Good luck explaining to your insurance provider what a Masonic jewel is, what a past master's jewel is, how much money they're worth, how they what they look like. Unless, I mean, how would you even know the value unless you have it appraised in advance, right? So obviously, when it comes to something like a past master's jewel, the goal is you don't want to lose it at all. You'd hate to lose it, period, because in many ways it's irreplaceable. But if you do lose it, you at least want to know that it will be accurately valued from a monetary perspective, if nothing else. Well, I will be live streaming on Labor Day. I will be live streaming on Labor Day on September 1st. We do have our baseball game on the 30th, which is going to be a blast. I have no doubt. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But that's on Saturday, the 30th. So I will be live streaming on September 1st, which is Labor Day. I hope everybody will take a few moments to jump in the chat to join me on Labor Day. If we all have the day off, maybe I can go for a little bit longer than I normally would. Who knows? And stream for a little bit longer because it is a holiday. I don't think I'll be doing a 24-hour stream. The next 24-hour stream will be September 21st. I'm going to try to do 24-hour streams once a month, every month on the 21st of that month. Unless my numbers get particularly higher and I find I don't need to do the 24-hour streams anymore to get those same watch times. Otherwise, the 21st, every month starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. And the benefit of doing it on the 21st is the 22nd is my birthday. So you guys will get to join me and watch me live stream during my birthday. So please, everybody, join me for that stream for no other reason than you can wish me a happy 25th birthday. Maybe a 26th birthday. Maybe I'll admit to being 26, but that's as far as I'm willing to go. I'm also working on a series of YouTube shorts where I talk about some of my favorite Masonic items. I never shower. I just bathe myself with Febreze. So I don't think National Soap Day will be of any benefit for me. Having said that, hey, if you guys want to celebrate National Soap Day, by all means. But do you really need soap? I don't think you do. Just spray Febreze in the air, roll through it. You're perfectly, perfectly fine, at least in my humble opinion. Also, whenever I think of soap, I think of Fight Club, which is one of my, I've talked about this before, least favorite movies of all time. If men really are struggling, how about instead of feeling the need to fight each other in parking lots and then join doomsday cults that want to blow up Starbucks, join your Masonic Lodge. You'll be much happier that way. Uh, to all the men out there, believe me, fighting in parking lots is not going to be your best way to develop mental health. Actually, it is my. Now you're making me older than I am, Dad. How about we just calm down? It'll be technically be my 42nd birthday. Um, so let's not add any ages to me, please. I would appreciate it. I feel old enough as it is. I don't necessarily need to have any ages or any years added to me. No worries, Smokey. I do appreciate you being here in the first place. So, but pay attention to some of these shorts I have coming out. There will be a bunch coming out. I've got one recorded right now, but there will be a bunch coming out very, very shortly. So I hope that you guys will take a few moments to like those, share those, um, hit that subscribe button on those live streams. That would be truly, truly appreciated. By the way, I always say we cannot separate the success of a Masonic Lodge from the economic conditions of the communities and the countries in which those Masonic lodges are located. According today, at least, stock market today, Dow slips as small caps rally. I have no idea really what any of that means, other than it seems that the firing of the Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook did not have a major effect on the stock market, which is a good thing, I think, or at least did not have a major negative effect on the stock market. But I understand the dollar is dipping, and as someone who likes to travel to the States, I'm not sure to what extent that will affect my States Masonic travel. You're an old man, Texas Freemason. You're an old man. 45. What is going on, Underground Thomas? Due to tariffs. Well, apparently I don't know to which you're referring. If you're referring to National Soap Day, I'm telling you, you don't need soap. Just spray Febreze in the air and just roll through it. That's what I do because apparently it's National Soap Day. Or if you're talking about economic news, like I said, there was I saw Trump fired federal governor, one of the Fed governors, but doesn't seem to have affected the stock market at all. Whether that, because I think, like I said, I would be fascinated, and I think it's worth exploring if we were to get a chart or study Masonic membership year over year, and then correlate that with the economic conditions within a country year by year. Like maybe, for example, I don't know what conditions you would pick to judge. Maybe the unemployment rate, the stock market, the GDP. You could pick your conditions and how you want to gauge them. But my suspicion is as unemployment goes down, you will see Masonic membership increase. As the GDP or the Stock market goes up, you will see Masonic membership also go up. Of course, correlation does not mean causation. Um, and so just because as unemployment goes down, Masonic membership goes up, that does not automatically mean one is causing the other. But my suspicion is there's likely a causal connection there. The one time we know for sure that we saw this pattern was during the Great Depression, when, in the Roaring Twenties, Masonic membership experienced a boom period. And then when the Great Depression hit, Freemasonry experienced a massive decline in membership, a massive loss of, in many cases, Masonic buildings, but also just membership as a whole significantly dropped. So, you know, again, causation, correlation is not the same thing by any means. However, I think it's worth exploring. And I do believe truly that there's probably more of a causation there than just a correlation. Again, the one real world experience that I know of is, again, Great Depression, or roaring, the economic boom of the 20s, significant Masonic growth, the Great Depression of the 30s, significant Masonic decline. Um, I have no idea. I feel like goat soap would be fine. I don't know. It's very strange to me, but Dad, I guess it works. Oh, so now you're even thinking in Masonic terms, Mr. Keep on Ticking, right? Now you're thinking in Masonic terms. You're thinking about guarding the West Gate. We'll make a Mason out of you yet. Um, so there you go. Congratulations, Smokey. Must be nice being off work. Congratulations. I hope that you will enjoy it very much. Um, you deserve it. I know how hard you work, so take a break. Um, I have never tried goat soap. It sounds like a very weird, like it sounds kind of like it would be a prank type of soap, right? Like if somebody were to give me goat milk soap, I would assume it was some type of prank, like the soap will smell bad, and they're giving it to me for that reason. So, but hey, I don't know. Maybe it would work. Underground Thomas, 27, a child. We have a child in the stream, and Mr. Keeps on Ticking, calling me a senior citizen over here. I feel like a senior citizen, especially after a hard workout. And I've been getting back to the gym the last few weeks. Knock on wood, I keep managing to get back to the gym. So, I definitely feel like a senior citizen. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. We are here to chat about Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have on it, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear them. Uh, about an hour in, so half an hour from now, we are going to be starting on specific topics. Specifically, I'm going to be sharing my socials, specifically my Instagram, because there's some things I want to talk about and some pictures I want to highlight within my Instagram, anyways, that I think it's important that we share. So I hope that you guys will take a moment and join, or take a moment, hit the like button, and join the stream. Honestly, I'm the worst at that aspect of, I'm terrible with that stuff. So I will try. I don't think I have sensitive skin. I mean, I would, I would use sandpaper if I thought it would do the job. I'm very lazy. I'm just sharing this stream on a couple of different spots to see who wants to join. Well, apparently though, I'm just saying I don't have sensitive skin. I don't care about I don't really care much about. I've never thought about skincare routines or anything like that. I'm the worst when it comes to that stuff. So I do not care at all about kind of sensitive or unsensitive skin. Like I said, I'm sure I could use sandpaper and I would be fine. Um, which I don't know if it would make good toilet paper. Geez, that would be terrible. No, don't use sandpaper for toilet paper. I don't know if sandpaper would make good soap, but um, I used to use. I remember back when I was in shops class back in the day, right? They had this special type of industrial soap. It was like a super grainy soap. It was really strong, but it worked great for removing um, dirt and grease and grime from your hands. I don't know what type of soap it was, but I feel like it was a special industrial type of soap. Because if I had, oil, dirt, grease, grime, whatever it was on my hands, um, that soap was the bomb. Although, this kind of brings up something I have talked about in the past, which is understanding our Masonic buildings. Um, um, I've mentioned this before, but a lot of Masons, they will understand and they will know about, for example, the esoteric elements of the craft and Freemasonry. They will understand things like, Larry, welcome. Yes, ask one, be one. You forgot the two in there. But Larry, I hope you hit the like and subscribe button and let me know how it's going. And if you want to chat about Freemasonry, they will know about like the esoteric qualities of Freemasonry. But if you ask them, and I use this example, where is the toilet paper in the Masonic building? If you need to replace it, they have no clue. And if actually that happened once where I came to lodge, there were no toilet paper in the washrooms, and nobody in the building knew where to find them. Knew where to find the toilet paper because there was one guy who took care of the building and he took care of all that stuff for us without telling anybody where it was, which is great, except sooner or later that guy's going to pass away. He's going to move. He's not going to be around. And now we have to learn everything from scratch. So pay attention to the little things that help make your Masonic building run efficiently. Where the toilet paper is, where the paper towels are, where the soap is, where all of that stuff is, right? That stuff truly matters. And you need to know it. So that's an interesting segue from toilet paper to Freemasonry, but that stuff matters. There were Masonic activities happening in concentration camps. There was one Masonic lodge that actually existed within a concentration camp. It was called Cherished Liberty, or it was in French like Liberté Chérie or something, but Cherished Liberty. And it was in a concentration camp I'm going to actually look it up now because I can't remember. I think it was in Belgium, if I recall correctly. Cherished Liberty. It was in the Estwergen concentration camp. Um, um, where was it located, though? I can't remember. It was Belgium. So it was established by 7 Belgian Freemasons in 1943. So I believe the Estwergen concentration camp was in um, I'm just trying to look up the actual location of it. Well, in any event, it was 7. So it was near the German-Dutch border. It was the Emsland region of Prussia. But anyways, it was 7 Belgian Freemasons that organized it. And by the way, any Mason out there who says they're too busy to be part of a Masonic lodge or to join them, not to join, but to attend Freemasonry, 7 Belgian Masons started a Masonic lodge while in a concentration camp. So if they can do that, for heaven's sake, you can attend lodge once a month. But yeah, nothing but credit and respect to them, right, for doing so. Um, It was crazy, but it was very, very impressive. Well, I mean, Brother Adam, if there are, I mean, they would technically be clandestine, but I can't imagine at that point anybody's going to care or hold it against them. If I was in a Grand Lodge position, as soon as the war was finished, I would grant that lodge some type of retroactive dispensation or something. But they found, because concentration camps were big areas, um, they found a place to meet in private, and they tried to maintain their Masonic traditions as best that they could, or twice a month. But again, if 7 Belgian Masons can maintain Freemasonry in a concentration camp, I think we as Freemasons can make it to our Masonic lodges once or twice a month. Okay, your Eastern Star. I did not know that. How is OES going for you? I still have not done like a full interview with Order of Eastern Star um, brothers and sisters for that matter, and I really, really want to. It's a million% on my list of places that I want to get to, or things I want to talk about, or lodges or Masonic bodies, I suppose, really, I should say, that I want to interview. I did a very short, very quick interview with Eastern Star in Glenview, Illinois, which was great, but that was very, very short, right? And very quick interview. I would really like to do a longer, full-on interview with Eastern Star. Talk more about um, why Eastern Star is such a valuable and important part of the Masonic family, which it is, and the things that they are doing to kind of grow Eastern Star and grow Freemasonry in general. So please take a moment. If you are just joining, hit that like and subscribe button. As always, we'll be starting on the main topics of conversation in, well, I guess 20 minutes or so. Well, that's because you're the outer guard. It is not the hardest job in lodge. I would say the hardest, oh, in that lodge, yes. In that lodge, of all the things to be, being the Tyler would be particularly frightening experience, I think. I would be quite scared if I found myself as the Tyler. I'd be scared to just be forming a Masonic lodge in that situation in general. I'd like to think that I would have the bravery. Um, I've seen many Tylers do that, Brother Adam. To have the bravery to still form and maintain my Masonic traditions while in a concentration camp and the threat that that might pose. But I don't know. I guess all I can say is I hope I would have that bravery. Well, the outer lodge, the outer guard or the Tyler, he basically is stationed outside the door of the lodge, and it's a traditional position. And his responsibility is to make sure no non-Masons sneak in and see what's happening, and to confirm to the inner guard that no non-Masons are getting in. But if you're the outer guard or Tyler, and shall we say, a guard from the concentration camp is showing up and wants to ask you what's going on, that might be quite nerve-wracking. Hopefully, well, not, sometimes it's a legitimate sword, sometimes it's actually a wooden replica. It just depends. But I would hope that they might have some type of advanced warning system where if they know somebody's coming, they can have at least a couple minutes or maybe even 30 seconds to do something quickly, or pretend they're doing something else in order to you know hide what's happening. But it would be incredibly, like I said, I think it would be incredibly, it demonstrates a great deal of courage and a great deal, I think, of respect that you have to have for the entirety of Freemasonry, to be able to put on a lodge during concentration camp. So yeah, the name of it was, again, Cherished Liberty, or Liberty de Chérie. It was Belgium Masons who organized it. Um, and it was in the Esterwegan camp. There is actually, so it's funny, I travel to um, I travel to Glenview, Illinois incredibly often. Very, very close to Glenview, Illinois is Skokie, Illinois, which is home of the Holocaust Museum, the Illinois Holocaust Museum. It's on my list of things I want to do. I want to visit that museum because I want to see if they have um, any documents or artifacts or any historical record of some of these um, Masonic lodges within concentration camps. Any pictures? It looks like there's also La Obstinie. That was actually not in a concentration camp. That was in a German prisoner of war camp. But that was soldiers starting a Masonic lodge, again, in a German prisoner of war camp, which again were not quite the same thing as concentration camps, to my understanding of it. But nothing but credit and respect to those soldiers as well, starting their Masonic lodge while being prisoners of war. There you go. Yes, or to make announcements as to any visitors who wish to join, or to announce any special dignitaries. If you ask me, in a general lodge, the most important job or the most important office is the deacon's office, either in the first or second degree, depending on the degree, because he is the guide for the Mason. And being a guide is an incredibly important and honorable experience. Hogan's Heroes, was that about a prisoner of war camp? And were there Masons in it? I'm curious now because I don't know. I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it. Hogan's Heroes. Were there any Freemasons in it? I wonder. Oh, nope. The movie showed. It was a TV show, wasn't it? I thought it was a sitcom about prisoners of war. Oh, well, if you, I mean, Smokey, in that case, you will become the junior warden, which, hey, we need good cooks. I talked about it yesterday on the stream. This guy called Kevin Ashton, if I recall that name correctly, he goes by, um, what's the name he goes by? Sorry, he goes by Old School Kevmo on TikTok and on Instagram. Sorry, yeah, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. He is a cook for a he's got like 1 million followers on Instagram. He goes as he's a cook for a sorority. So he cooks 9 meals every week for 30 students, right? And he has to work within the budget that they provide. He has to um, work within any dietary restrictions of those 30 people. He has to provide a menu in advance to say what he's going to have, and also provide alternatives to deal with dietary restrictions. He has to organize the logistics of it and communicate with the students as to what is good, what is not good, like all that jazz. He has to do all of that stuff, right? And I thought, what if we, as Freemasons, started to look at the hiring of professional chefs for our the hiring of professional chefs for our meetings. Again, 2 meetings a month, bring in a professional chef 2 times, and the junior warden's job becomes more of a liaison between the two. Because if you think about it, all of the challenges that a junior warden faces, budget, cooking for large groups of people, dietary restrictions, communicating with the lodge, are the same things that a professional chef like, old school Kevmo would have to deal with. But he's a professional. He has the certifications for food service, and he's able to work with all of within all of these restrictions to provide meals that everybody enjoys. Maybe Freemasons could consider doing the same thing. I think it'd be worth looking at, you know. Again, maybe even hiring on like a full-time, well, not a full-time chef, but a chef. If you have 2 meetings a month, you're bringing in a professional chef 2 times a month, paying him $500 plus a budget of, let's say, 200. I think lodges that are big enough, most Masons would be willing to put in a couple $100 to cover that, because spread out over 100 lodge members, it would work. Hey, brother Adam, I talked about this yesterday. I made a delicious green bean casserole when I visited West Chicago Masonic Lodge. They were having a Thanksgiving celebration and Thanksgiving banquet, and I showed up. I showed up early, and I said, "I am." Um, um, what was I saying? I went to West Chicago. I went there for a Thanksgiving banquet they were having, Thanksgiving potluck. I got there early. I offered to help out. I ended up making their green bean casserole and their deviled eggs. And I got to say to myself, I made a pretty decent green bean casserole and I made a pretty decent deviled egg. So just deal with that, everybody. It was awesome. And by the way, I'm going to give a little bit of Masonic advice. If you are a Mason and you're traveling somewhere for some type of Masonic event or Masonic celebration, try to get there early if you can and offer to help out. Spend a few minutes offering to help out with whatever it is, putting up chairs, um, cleaning stuff, preparing food. Just offer your services. Be polite. Now, not everybody's going to need your help, which is fine. Not every Masonic lodge will necessarily even want your help. They may say, no, we want our own guys to do it, which is perfectly fine. It's just about offering to help, is what matters. And right, deviled eggs, they may be called deviled eggs, but they are angelic. Deviled eggs taste amazing. So we can change the term if you like. We can call them angelic eggs if you would like. No, it's fine. I take that as a funny joke. I don't take that too seriously. So I take that as funny. But we'll switch the name for this stream. We'll call them angelic eggs if that works better. My favorite Chicago meal. That's a really good question. Wow, that's a really good question because honestly, even though I'm in Chicago all the time, I've never really eaten any quote unquote like special meals within Chicago. Normally, within Chicago, I'm grabbing Dunkin' Donuts because I love Dunkin' Donuts. I love Dunkin' coffee. It's my second favorite coffee. My favorite coffee is what Mr. Keeps sent to me. But my second favorite coffee, congratulations, is Dunkin' Donuts coffee. So I'm grabbing like Dunkin's Donut coffee because I love it. You can't get it in Canada. I'm grabbing stuff really that's in the loop. I'm always stopping. One of my traditions is stop by the 7-Eleven, grab a coffee and a donut there as well. But when I do, every meal I have in that area, I always have in Glenview, Illinois, which is again about 30 minutes, 40 minutes north of Chicago, thereabouts, about 14, 15 miles north of Chicago. And when I'm there, I have a lot of favorite spots for meals. Check out my awesome hole in my sleeve, right? That can include, I love Ellie's Pancake House. I think the best breakfast in the The best breakfast in the Chicago area is Ellie's Pancake House on North Milwaukee Road, right across from the Motel 6. Then I really love Grandpa's House, which is located basically across from the metro station in Glenview, Illinois. Um, very, very close to it, which I love the metro station very much. I think it's an awesome, awesome. I love that station because it's got a free library. Like it's got a lot of shelves with free books, but then across from it, you've got Grandpa's House, which is like a pub bar thing. It's got a very cool jukebox and it's got some absolutely amazing food. I usually go for their quesadillas and French onion soup, but recently I tried their beef sandwich inspired by the bear, and it was an amazing sandwich. The au jus was incredible. The peppers on it were great. So there's Grandpa's Place. There's Ellie's Pancake House. There's Ellie's Pancake House for breakfast. Grandpa's House for lunch. There's the Glenview Dairy Bar for ice cream. They have delicious ice cream there, and it's like a tradition during summer to stop by there for some ice cream. Um, what other places do I love? There's Tous les Jus, which is an awesome bakery. It has good coffee, but it has absolutely wonderful pastries. So sometimes I'll go there for breakfast because it's on North Milwaukee, close to the Motel 6. There is Pequod's Pizza in Morton Grove, which I went to and loved. And there is, let me just get the name of it because I always pronounce it incorrectly. So I'm going to look up the exact name. It's like Vitelli's Pizza, which is probably my favorite pizza, again, in the Chicago area. I like it even more than Pequod's. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Vicino's. See, I always get the name of it mixed up. I've been there a million times. Vicino's Pizza Company on Glenview and Harlem. And then one last place I'll mention, and I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Glenview Grind, probably my favorite coffee shop, and has really delicious, fancy coffees. Tous les Jus, TOUSLEJOURS, Tous les Jus. That's at least how I pronounce it. I'm probably pronouncing it terribly wrong. It's like a French Korean bakery. They have, I said, in terms of baked goods, they are absolutely the bomb, absolutely the best baked goods you could ask for, including these crazy good macaroons. So I got to give a huge shout out to them for delicious stuff. So, I mean, I think I listed all of my favorite spots, favorite meals in the Chicago area, if you will. For breakfast, Ellie's Pancake House in Glenview or Tous les Jus in Glenview. For lunch, Grandpa's Place or Vicino's Pizza. For a snack, the Glenview Dairy Bar or the Glenview Grind would be my favorite places to grab food. Tous les jours? All right, tous les jours. I don't speak French. I do not speak any French. So I always say it tous les jours, but I guess it's tous les jours. Because I felt like you wouldn't pronounce the R. But I don't even know what that means actually when you translate it. So it's just delicious, whatever it is, whatever you want to say it as. Maybe I could look up. Let me see what the translation of it is. I guess it means round the day. Okay. I did not know that. Well, I mean, if I lived in Glenview and if I had the money, I would definitely go there every day. I've taught, I've posted some of this stuff up on social media. Like one thing when I travel anywhere, much appreciated. When I travel anywhere, one thing that I always try my best to do is not just go to like local places and try to purchase something from them to support the local, business. I also try to post about the local business on my Instagram and socials to maybe give them a bit of help, give them a review on Google. And I also maybe will buy something to bring with me to the lodge. So for example, if I like when I was most recently in uh or not most recently, but not too long ago, was in Glenview. I stopped at Two Le Jour and picked up a box of cookies and brought them to the lodge I was visiting as a way to thank you, Underground Thomas, truly appreciated, as a way to both support the business and show that I was supporting the Masonic Lodge as well, um, or at least that I wanted to bring something to support them. Now, sometimes it's worth, and you can, support a local business in your community by doing the same thing, buying something from your local community and then bringing it with you to the Masonic Lodge. Um, um, because that way you're kind of doing the best of both worlds. You're showing your support for the um, you're showing your support for the uh, lodge you're visiting by bringing a gift, and you're supporting your local businesses by buying something from the your local community and a local store. The issue is one of my concerns is especially with with President Trump in the office right now and all the talk of tariffs and what is and what isn't de minimis. I'm always very hesitant now to travel with anything more than I need when I'm crossing the border, because I don't know if I'm, bringing in, let's say, a bunch of maple syrup, if I'm going to get slapped on with some type of duty when crossing the border. You are seeing that there used to be this rule. It was called de minimis, which is if you're crossing the border with less than a certain, with less in value than I think it was like 50 or $60, the duty fees are waived. Um, as a um, as a way to promote like cross-border transportation, cross-border visitation, and help with the economy. But I've been hearing more and more that they are waiving the de minimis charges. So, like I think Black Raven or Black Raven Meditation discovered this when trying to send coffee over the border. They're now giving you massive duty charges for that. So I'm hesitant to travel across the border to the States with items. What I'd rather do is just buy an item locally from where I'm visiting to support that local business and then bring it with me when I travel to the lodge. Yes, BRM cookies do make friends. I mean, I love ginger snaps. Growing up, my mom used to make them. My grandmother used to make them. Um, and so I used to really love ginger snap cookies. Those are the best. Oh, you can do it, Smokey. You can do it. It's super easy. It's free. You can do it. I believe in you. I appreciate that, BRM, but when you're sending coffee from the States to Canada, like I said, I think they're waiving de minimis. So now, even if you're sending something that, the value of which is $5 to $10, you might still get dinged with a duty charge that could be 50 or $60. So believe me, I get it. It's one of my concerns as well. Luckily, I'm still able to send items by mail that are really small. I'm not getting dinged with duty, like those coins, for example, to the States, but I'm hoping that'll stay. But again, this is why I try to travel when I'm crossing the border as light as possible. And yes, Mr. Keeps, that is my goal. I'm always trying to support the local economy as many different ways as I can. So if that means I have to visit a house of ill repute in Nevada, then you know what? So be it. I'm just here trying to do my part to put, to help people make it through college. Okay. I'm sorry that I'm sorry. I'm trying to be a good person over here. Uh, Equinox. I went to a gym in Chicago called the Equinox Gym, and I loved it. It was incredible. It was absolutely one of my favorite gyms I've ever been to because it was on the second floor of this building, and I remember, I'm working out in this gym, and I look over, and basically, I don't know, 20 feet from the window or something to that extent, maybe 10 feet, you see, like perfectly level, you see the L, the CTA passing by. The L is the elevated subway, elevated train system in Chicago. It's kind of one of Chicago's um, more famous landmarks or features. I've taken it a million times. I love the L. Normally, I'm a blue line guy myself. Uh, and the fact that it's passing at your eye level, it makes you feel like you're a real Chicagoan, if that makes any sense. I loved it. So I love the Equinox Gym, and thank you, Equinox, for giving me a free day pass. Equinox, I'm not sure to what you are referring with the covens. Freemasonry does not have, in my knowledge, covens. And you also say we're not going to get in with our record. So Equinox, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Freemasonry, by and large, does not automatically exclude people with a criminal record. It may result in you not getting into the lodge, but that really is going to depend on um, the nature of the criminal record and the offense and what the lodge thinks about it. But as a general rule, it's not an automatic disqualification or an automatic disqualifier to have a criminal record. It again, it may end up being, resulting in you not getting into the Masonic Lodge, but don't treat it as an automatic refusal. Just explain what happened to the Masonic Lodge, how it is that you got the criminal record, and you kind of go from there. Just be honest, though. Good life advice, I think, is always to just be honest with, I mean, any situation, right? When you're applying to join, because one of the worst things you can do is lie, and then you get caught out in the lie, in which case it's only going to look worse for you than perhaps you would have otherwise. It's kind of like when I was a probation officer, a lot of guys with criminal records would ask me if they could cross into the United States, and I would tell them. So if they had a specific condition that said like not to leave the country, then obviously the answer is no, or not to leave the province, the answer is no. But if they told me they had no condition like that, what I would say is, look, if you want to try, you can try. Just be honest at the border. If they ask you if you have a criminal record, just be honest and explain whether you do or do not, and what happened, and leave it up to the border guard to decide. But if you lie and say you don't have a criminal record, and then it ends up that you do, it's only going to make things worse for you. And yes, Smokey, you did create a Patreon for me, and I truly appreciate it. So thank you so much for that. By the way, I'm going to just say it. My Freemasonry goes to 11. I just saw the trailer for the new Spinal Tap, and it looks absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to check out the Spinal Tap sequel. It looks like the bomb. I don't know if anybody else has seen Spinal Tap, the OG. It's been ages since I saw it, but I really enjoyed it. I wish that they would make a kind of, they could do a Spinal Tap version of a Masonic documentary, because we're all a bunch of foolish people in Freemasonry. We're probably as foolish as the Spinal Tap people, if not more foolish. So I'm sure they could do a Spinal Tap style mockumentary of Freemasons, and it would be the same thing. But my Freemasonry goes to 11. Let's give it a couple more minutes. Let's see how much longer or how many more people join before I maybe start to share my stream. I mean, and sometimes that can happen. I find more often than not, the wives of Freemasons are more than happy to see them taking off and not joining, taking off, and it gives them some time apart, which can sometimes be nice. And some people have a tendency to prefer spending a little bit of time on their own. Absence makes the hearts grow fonder, that type of thing. But hey, if your dad wanted to be with your mom all the time and did everything together, then that sounds awesome. Sounds like it was a really wonderful marriage. By the way, Equinox, I believe you're new to the stream. Please don't forget to hit the like button, to hit the subscribe button. Let me know how it's going, and let me know if there's any questions you have about Freemasonry, either positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. I'm going to start sharing my screen soon because there's some things I want to talk about. Really, the purpose of this is to give some congratulations that I think are very, very well deserved, that I want to share. So, but yeah, it's going to be an awesome stream on the 29th. It'll be on my personal channel, Cameron Adamson. So that day, we will not have a 1 p.m. live stream. We will have a 1 a.m. live stream, but not a 1 p.m. live stream. So, and thank you to everybody who's joined. Looks like the mobile streaming is much more preferred. So we'll be going back to that. But this way, like I said, I can share my Insta accounts. I can share not just my Instagram, but I can share a lot of different social media accounts. And thank you for all the likes, by the way. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I am 7 or 6 subs away from 2,500 subs. So I'm really hoping to get up to that one this week. My live streams, my watch hours are going up, which is wonderful to see. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the numbers of subscribers goes up too. And that's also true for all of my accounts. Socials, Instagram, X, all that good jazz. Okay, let's share this screen. All right. Once you guys can see it, let me know. I feel like sometimes it can take a second or two to pop up. Once you see the shared screen, give some hearts, put something in the chat so I know that you can see it. Okay. So obviously, the reason that I wanted to share this, amongst other things, is because I'm wanting to encourage people to check out my social media accounts. It gives me a chance to talk about things that otherwise either don't fit well or don't work well when it comes to podcast, where I have a better chance of sharing the info I want to share via social media. Everything has its place, right? So, first thing I want to do is encourage people to follow square_and_compass_promotions on Instagram. But then I also want to share a few things that I think we as Freemasons need to be thinking about and keeping in mind. It's the little things, but it really is. I want to give a huge shout out, thank you to the City of Windsor, Transit Windsor, and our city councilor for installing a trash can at stop 771011. There was a trash can there, and approximately 4 years ago, give or take, there was a car accident and a car basically ran into the bus stop that was present. It destroyed both the bench and the trash cans, and even the sign that was at that bus stop. When they replaced the bus stop, they replaced the bench. They did not bother to replace the trash can, which was a pain in the butt, because what it meant is people would, especially because you're not allowed to bring drinks or food onto the buses, people would be waiting at the bus stop. They'd go to get on the bus. They'd throw their drinks and their food on the ground, get on the bus, and invariably the food and the drink containers would end up going under or through the fence and end up on our lawn, which was, as you can imagine, a pain in the butt, because it meant it was harder to it made the building look uglier. It made the outside of the building look uglier. And it meant it took a little bit longer to do the yard work, because you constantly had to, you had to stop to pick up the trash or whatever it was. So we sent in some 311 requests. I did, as well as a few other people. It did take a little bit longer than I would have wanted, but we did get finally a trash can installed. And as you can see, at the very least, there is no trash on the sidewalk at the moment, or on the lawn, which is not something. But it used to be, if you walked by this thing, you would see trash either on the bench, on the sidewalk, or getting onto the lawn, or piling up at the fence. So thank you to Transit Windsor for that. But I do want to bring this up also, not just to say thank you, but also just to remind any Masons watching this. I get it. It's super easy to think that, again, to think that your Masonic Lodge is a separate entity from the city. It's not. It is just not. It's the same entity. It's the same thing. You should care about the bus stop that's in front of your building. You should care about if there's adequate trash services there. You should care about how it looks. You should care about if there's graffiti. You should care about all of these type of things in order to, you should want it to look good, to be serviceable for the people, and to be serviceable for even your Masons, right? How many Masons need to take the bus to get to the lodge? We want a good bench there. We want a clean bench there. We want trash cans there. So don't treat them as separate things. Don't treat the sidewalk as a separate thing. Know who your city councilor is, know about your civic government, and do whatever you can do to create a successful, aesthetically pleasing environment, not just within your Masonic Lodge, not just within your property, but all around the building as well. So, and that might mean doing a few 311 phone calls, that, whatever it takes. Know your bylaw officer too. Absolutely. Know all of that stuff. Keep in contact. All of that stuff absolutely matters. So I just want to give a shout out, a thank you, and I hope that this can be, maybe put the bug into some people. Hey, know what's going on in your lodges, care about what's on around your lodges, care about what's going on in your community, care about what's happening in front of your buildings, care about the whole thing. Don't just treat Freemasonry like an island into or unto itself, because it's not that. It can't be that. Oh, are you guys seeing me well? I feel like there was a pause there for a second. All right, I'm going to keep going. Next one. Speaking of caring about what's happening in our communities, I want to give a shout out to the Windsor's Asian Night Market. The food was amazing. It took place right in front of my apartment. Again, congratulations to the city of Windsor. Congratulations to our city councilor, and congratulations to the Riverfront on producing an absolutely incredible and amazing event. Again, I think we as Freemasons should celebrate the successes of our city. This food was absolutely delicious, by the way. I love raw oysters. The fact that I got to eat some grilled oysters was second greatest thing ever. The food was unbelievable, and I was proud I got the chance to support a local community event. Every Mason should try to do so as much as they can. We should recognize this care package from my fans. My fans are better than your fans, even though it's ranch, and we'll ignore that as a troll. Otherwise, my fans are better than your fans. So thank you so much for that. Shiitake Apparel, I wanted to give a moment to shout them out. They provided me with some absolutely incredible items. We got these awesome sunglasses. We've got this amazing leather wallet, along with, you'll see, this very cool collector's box. This awesome hat, and this very cool watch. So, I mean, I absolutely love these items. I think they're beautiful. I was very honored to receive them. I wore them during my 24-hour live stream, which is something I really appreciated getting the chance to do. I'm going to be wearing them on a few more streams coming up. So thank you to Shiitake Apparel. You can see it there. It's Mr. Shiitake. Congratulations to Masonic Chip program, a child ID program, for being back. First Masonic child identification program since pre-COVID in Essex County District. So congratulations to them. I volunteered here for about 4 hours. It was 1,000,000 degrees. I got the most massive sunburn I've gotten in a long time, but it was nonetheless truly, truly awesome. This was at the Windsor Hip Hop Festival. And speaking of the Windsor Hip Hop Festival, I got to be at the Windsor Hip Hop Festival as well, Square Cumbers Promotions. I loved being there, supporting local artists. I did 2 live streams. My phone overheated, but that's okay. I showed off all of these incredible items, my these postcards, this apron from Puerto Vallarta, these special coins. I am a traveler. It was really, really fun, and it was just a blast. So despite a super fun, if you will, sunburn nonetheless. Oh, it was hot, Smokey. It was hot. I'm sure that you guys get it hotter down there, but it was warm. Do they have travel CPAP machines? I don't know if they do or not. Those are for sleep apnea, right? If I'm not mistaken. This is very worshipful brother Gene Lotz. Congratulations to him on some amazing artwork that he displayed at the Windsor Masonic Temple's Coffee Club. We have been showing a lot of artwork and a lot of artists' work at the Windsor Masonic Temple. And it was really, really, it was an absolute blast to be able to have these items being shown in the coffee club. So thank you so much to Gene Lotz for doing so. PlaySmart, if you need help. PlaySmart did a presentation at the Windsor uh, Coffee Club as part of a Border Cities Lodge event. They talked about problem gambling areas, or problem gambling, I should say, how to know if maybe you have a problem with gambling, where to seek help, how these problems can develop, and also provided some general interesting facts about about gambling in general, how it works, how it operates, what odds actually mean, and some common misconceptions. And so I always want to give them a lot of support because they came out and supported the Masonic Lodge, and I truly appreciated that. We have the best fans. I said my favorite coffee is Dunkin' Donuts. However, because I got this is my favorite coffee, not Starbucks, just the Starbucks that comes specifically from these bags and from this package. It's funny, the Amazon driver got there at like 4 in the morning. Thank heavens I happened to be awake, and I talked to him, and he left it in a place that I could go and get it. So I ran, grabbed it, and yeah. This is my favorite coffee. This specific coffee in this specific bag. Once it's finished, I will go back to my favorite coffee being being Dunkin' Donuts. Yes, he did, Miss Texas Freemason. So I'm just going to go back to him for a second. He actually absolutely did an incredible job, and he has been sharing a lot of his stuff through email and on social media. So I really appreciate that. Had good friends. This is the Caesars Windsor Coliseum. Go get some stuff from the store and then do your live smoking. Everybody who follows me here should also take the time to follow Smokey on his YouTube channel. One thing I always try to do, I have not had any success as of yet, but I hope to soon, is whenever there is a show taking place at the Coliseum at Caesars Windsor, if we have any Masonic events happening, or not even that, but if, for example, the coffee club is having is meeting for coffee, whatever it is, I always try to contact the ACT, or at least the ACT's management, and just say, look, we have this special thing, we have this coffee club, we have this building. Do you guys want to stop by at any point for some coffee? I've yet to have any success, but you know what? I keep trying, and I'm hoping one day I am successful. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Riverfront, this I just thought was cool. And again, we as Freemasons should care about and support what's happening in our buildings, in our cities, in our communities, and that includes things that aren't even Masonically connected, but are nonetheless interesting within our community. I want to take a moment to thank everybody who took part in the August 20th, 2025 Insta live stream from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There was my first Insta live stream. I never done one before. And so getting the chance to try it out, to practice something completely different, I really enjoyed it. It was my first time ever doing it, so obviously the number of people on it was probably lower than it would be otherwise if I do it more frequently. And I do actually plan to do it much more frequently. That was my first one ever. But there is going to be a lot more of these Insta lives coming up. So I just hope that you guys enjoyed it, whoever tuned in for it, and I hope that you guys will check out, my upcoming live streams. I may try to do it where every month on the 20th I do an Insta live, and then on the 21st I do my 24-hour live stream. And also a huge thank you to everybody who helped make July so successful. You can see here the growth in, this is from YouTube, the growth in people watching and hours of people watching, all that good jazz. So please, I hope that you guys will help me continue to grow the channel. This is all from my time most recently in Illinois, August 3rd, the Joliet Slammers baseball game, the Loyal Lodge number 1007 in Skokie, Illinois, the barbecue, delicious food, by the way, absolutely delicious food here. You can see my 24-hour live stream go. This is from the previous one. I got a new one once again where this line goes up. This was from Ontario Grand Lodge Annual Communication. I love the view from the Sheraton Parkway North. It's all you, Mr. Keeps on Ticking. It's all you. I appreciate all of your assistance very much. Oh, I asked Grok to create an image based on the prompt Freemasonry. These are the two images it created. So what I find so interesting is a lot of AI-based, like a lot of AI image generators, when they're creating the square and compasses, they don't put the G in, which I find interesting. They put another symbol, which I'm not sure why that is the case. There have been some changes lately, but I feel like more often than not, it's not putting in the G. I'm not sure why or what the reason is, but I think it's an interesting little thing about AI. Once again, we as Freemasons should care about our communities. Happy birthday, Windsor. Happy birthday to the new Windsor City Hall, or not the new Windsor City Hall, but happy birthday to Windsor and congratulations on this new fountain public area. A great addition to our downtown. And I agree with this, celebrate Windsor, but Freemasonry equals community. This was my confirmation of signing up for my YouTube, signing up to vote in Grand Lodge's annual communication, which I do every year. And this I just thought was cool because it's I did a professional wrestling show on top within an ice rink, and they put wood down over the ice. And I thought it was just really cool to see the ice underneath the wooden boards. So I took a picture of that. Right. So we're going to stop sharing for a moment. Right. Why did I share my Instagram? Well, there's a couple of reasons. The first is I want to encourage more people to check out my Instagram. I think that oftentimes the information about Freemasonry and the ways I can explore Freemasonry on my Instagram are different and unique to the ways I can explore Freemasonry on YouTube, which is also unique and different from the ways I can explore Freemasonry on my Facebook, on Podbean, on Medium. Each type of medium, each type of social media, what's the word I'm looking for? Each type of social media platform has its own unique strengths as well as its own unique weaknesses. And I think the way for me to maximize those strengths and minimize those weaknesses is to be on as many different platforms as I can be and to have as many different followers as I can have on each of those different platforms. Which is why, again, please, I hope that you guys will take a few moments to follow me on all of those different platforms. But the other thing, and the other reason I'm sharing it, is first, I wanted to show a picture of the trash can, and once again, take a moment to congratulate the City of Windsor and thank the City of Windsor for having that trash can installed. It's a little thing, but it means a lot um, in terms of what it does to beautify the area around our Masonic building. I also want to take a few moments to thank, um, you know, everybody and show the growth I've had in the channel with those pictures as a thank you for all of the assistance and support, to thank Shiitake Apparel, to thank Mr. Keeps, to thank all of my fans for sending me items, for sponsoring the channel, and for giving me every month an increasing number of followers, as well as of subscribers, as well as watch time. And again, one of the strengths of Instagram is I can demonstrate that growth very easily and very simply in picture format. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I think on Instagram, that is certainly the case. I'm next going to share my Twitter at Cameron Adamso 16 because there's a couple things in particular I want to show off, but I'm going to give it a second just to see if anybody wants to jump in, has any questions, any thoughts, any comments. Please, in the meantime, hit that like and subscribe button if you're just joining, and let me know if there's anything you want to talk about for a few minutes while we wait to see who is going to join. But I do agree, Ryan, it is super cool. I've talked about AI and Freemasonry and the extent to which I think AI will affect Freemasonry. In the short term, it affects Freemasonry as another search engine that people are using, right? If people want to learn about Freemasonry back in the day, they would learn about it by going to Google and typing in, teach me about Freemasonry. Or what is Freemasonry? More and more often, they are turning to AI and to Grok and asking AI or Grok or Chat GPT, whatever it might be, what is Freemasonry, and checking out what those answers might be. So as a consequence of that, I think we as Freemasons need to spend more time thinking about and caring about what is Freemasonry on an artificial intelligence platform. How does AI, how does a large language model view Freemasonry? What does it think of Freemasonry? What does it say when someone asks it, what is Freemasonry? Right? That really does need to be our main consideration, more so than anything else. I also hope everybody is looking forward to the softball game coming up August 30th. If you're going to be attending, it's going to be an absolute blast. If I could, I'm trying to look for something quickly. We'll see if I can't find it. All right. Before I go to my Twitter. And yes, Ryan brings out the very good point. If you are not going to be playing baseball, do not be alarmed. You're going to be okay. You can still eat a pig that will be roasting that I'm sure will be absolutely delicious. It's funny, there's that event, and then across the way, um, what was I saying there? Sorry, I just got stuck sending a message. Um, there is a event happening in Windsor at the softball game, and the same day there's a barbecue happening in Detroit. I was wondering if I could maybe hit up both. It would be tough though, because I would have to take the tunnel bus. It's the last chance to take the tunnel bus. So, um, but I would hope that I could potentially be able to do both somehow. It just would be really tough. The timing would be incredibly, incredibly challenging. But I think it'd also be a lot of fun if I could do both. Maybe somebody would want to drive to one, then drive to the other. I think Harmony Lodge is going to be providing a pizza at the event. So that should be really, really cool. But I do hope everybody will take a moment once again to please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Does Freemasonry need AI? No. Texas Freemason. I don't think Freemasonry needs AI. I think AI is a tool that Freemasonry can potentially benefit from. But the idea that Freemasonry needs AI, I don't think would be the case. Just because Freemasonry has survived for, or existed for 300 years without it, I guess for me, the question would be, what benefits does ChatGPT offer that we can take advantage of? It's, for example, Freemasonry doesn't need let me see if I can get this thing. Freemasonry does not need email. However, let me just plug this into me 1 second. Certainly, email provides the ability to communicate with members in a cost-effective manner and in a much easier manner than perhaps you would have otherwise. So I think saying does Freemasonry need AI? No, but I hope that Freemasonry is smart enough to take advantage of the opportunities that AI provides. Interestingly enough, I was going to go to my Twitter. Instead, I'm going to go to ChatGPT. I want to try something and see how it works. Let's maybe interview AI about Freemasonry. Actually, I wonder if I can interview it with Grok instead of ChatGPT. Let me try something here. And let's see what artificial intelligence thinks about Freemasonry. If you have any questions that you would want me to ask it, please let me know and I'll see what it says. We're going to start with Grok. Okay. Let's see what Grok has to say. Not a fan of Elon Musk. Hopefully, I mean, there are a lot of things I respect actually, but I'm still not a huge fan. Let's hope that that doesn't affect the we are about to get. So let me just give me 1 second. Once again, let me know if you can see the screen, if it's sharing well, if it's popping up successfully. And let me also try to get this thing set up here. Honestly, I was thinking of it, but I figured I could do it with a different uh, chat bot, right? I can use Grok for this one and then use, because I've done this in the past, I've done this on Medium, but I've never used Grok before. So let's see what Grok has to say. Let's start with a very simple question. What is Freemasonry? Freemasonry is a fraternal organization with roots tracing back to the late 16th, early 17th century. Primarily in Europe, it's structured on local groups called lodges where members meet for rituals, discussions, and social activities. The core of Freemasonry revolves around moral and ethical teachings, um, often conveyed through symbolic ceremonies inspired by medieval stonemason guilds, though it's not a trade organization. It emphasizes personal development, charity, and brotherhood with principles like integrity, truth, and mutual support. Members, called Masons, progress through degrees like entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason via rituals that use tools like the square and compass as metaphors for self improvement. It's not a religion, but requires belief in a supreme being accommodating various faiths. Freemasonry has no centralized authority. Each lodge operates under a grand lodge, which varies by region. Historically, it's been influential with figures like George Washington and Benjamin Franklin. As members, though, it's also faced suspicion, often tied to conspiracy theories about secret power. Today, it's a global organization with millions of members focused on community service and personal growth, though membership has declined in some areas. If you want specifics, like its rituals, historical controversies, or current relevance, I can dig deeper or check X for recent discussions. Let me know. If you have any questions you want me to ask Grok, please put them in the chat about Freemasonry. Any questions at all, I will do my best to put them in there. I'm going to ask this. What do you think of Freemasonry? Personal opinion of Freemasonry, based on what's known and what's out there. Freemasonry is a mixed, it's a centuries-old organization that promotes self-improvement, charity, and community through symbolic rituals and tight-knit brotherhood. Many members find it rewarding for personal growth and networking, and its charitable work, like supporting hospitals or scholarships, is well documented. For example, Masonic charities in the US also donate millions annually to causes like children's healthcare. On the flip side, it's got a reputation for secrecy that fuels suspicion. The closed-door rituals and vague supreme being requirement can feel exclusionary or cult theories, think world domination or hidden agendas, persist, though most lack solid evidence. Historically, it's been criticized for being elitist or overtly influential in politics and business, especially in the 18th and 19th centuries, but its clout seems overstated today. Membership's been declining in places like the US and Europe, which suggests it's struggling to stay relevant in a more open digital world. If you're curious about specifics, like its rituals or modern influence, or want me to check X for current settlements, just say so. I agree with you, Texas Freemason. I tend to be pro AI, pro technology as a general rule. Let me ask you this. What are 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses of Freemasonry in 2025? So, based on available information and analysis of Freemasonry's current state, here are 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses of the organization. Ryan, I got your question, and BRM, I got your question, so I'm going to put Ryan's question first in 1 second, then I'll put BRM. I'm not getting lag spikes on my end here when I'm watching it, but I'll keep watching. If it keeps happening, what I may do is stop sharing the screen and just read out the answers to the question. Strong community and networking. Freemasonry fosters a sense of brotherhood, creating a tight-knit communities where members support each other personally or professionally. Lodges provide a space for social bonds and networking, which can be valuable and increasingly disconnected world. Many members report lifelong friendships and business opportunities stemming from lodge. Focus on personal development. The organization's rituals and teachings emphasize self-improvement, ethical behavior, and moral reflection. The symbolic progression through degrees encourages members to cultivate virtues like integrity and discipline, which remain appealing for those seeking structured personal growth. And charitable impact. Freemasonry has a robust tradition of philanthropy, with lodges worldwide contributing to causes like education, healthcare, and disaster relief. For instance, Masonic charities in the US and UK reportedly donate millions annually, supporting initiatives like children's hospitals and community programs. Weaknesses, declining membership. Freemasonry has struggled to, hold on just one sec, to attract and retain younger members, with many lodges reporting aging demographics. In the US, membership has dropped from a peak of over 4 million in the 1950s to around 1 million in recent years, reflecting challenges in adapting to modern values and lifestyles. Perception of secrecy and exclusivity. The organization's secretive rituals and selective membership, requiring belief in a supreme being, and traditionally excluding women, fuel mistrust and perceptions of elitism. This image makes it hard to dispel conspiracy theories or appeal to a broader, more diverse audience. Relevance in digital age. Freemasonry's traditional structures centered on in-person meetings and historical rituals can feel outdated in a fast-paced, tech-driven world. Younger generations often prioritize flexibility and transparency, which clashes with the organization's formal hierarchical nature. If you'd like me to dive deeper into any of these points or check X for current discussions about Freemasonry status in 2025, let me know. Are we still getting lag spikes, or have they calmed down a little bit? Maybe what I'll do is I'll stop sharing the screen if we're still getting them, if that is affecting things. I'm going to ask Ryan McKee's question first. Oops. How can Freemasonry survive in the future? Let me see if I can. Come on. All right, no lag spikes, at least for Ryan. Okay, how can Freemasonry survive in the future? For Freemasonry to thrive beyond 2025, founded in its current state, modernize outreach and engagement, embrace transparent, engaging content on social media, and websites to attract younger audiences. Virtual lodge meetings or hybrid events could accommodate busy schedules and global members. For example, some lodges have started streaming public events or creating YouTube channels to demystify Freemasonry. Target younger demographics. Develop campaigns highlighting personal growth and networking benefits tailored to Gen Z and millennials. Emphasize values like community and purpose, which resonate with younger generations, as seen in posts on X, where users express interest in meaningful group experiences. Increase transparency and inclusivity, demystifying practices, share more about rituals and values publicly without revealing core secrets. To counter perceptions of secrecy, public open houses like those some U.S. lodges have held, can showcase community contributions and reduce suspicions. Um, Broaden membership. Reconsider restrictive criteria like male traditions in many jurisdictions to include women and non-binary individuals, as some progressive lodges already do. Relaxing the supreme being requirement could also widen appeal to agnostics or secular individuals aligning with diverse modern beliefs, adapt traditions to contemporary needs. Um, uh, Streamline rituals, simplify our modern ceremonies to make them less time intensive, and more relatable, while preserving their symbolic core. This could appeal to those deterred by formal, lengthy meetings, as noted in discussions about declining membership. Focus on relevant causes. Amplify charitable efforts on issues like mental health or climate action, which resonate with younger generations. Highlighting impactful projects like the millions donated annually to hospitals can boost public perceptions and member pride. Strengthen community impact. I would say what this means is strengthen our relevance, which I've talked about frequently. Um, Lodges should deepen ties with local communities through visible projects like mentoring programs or public service events to demonstrate relevance. This counters the narrative of Freemasonry is an insular secret society. Mentorship programs pair experienced Masons with newer members to foster retention and pass down knowledge. Addressing the aging membership issue has fallen. U.S. membership has fallen to less than 1 million from 4 million in the 1950s. Membership decline, down significantly since its mid 20th century peak, and perceptions of exclusivity remain hurdles. X posts often highlight curiosity about Freemasonry, but also skepticism about its secrecy or relevance. Failure to adapt risks further erosion as younger generations prioritize transparency and flexibility. Next, we're going to ask the BRM question. Copy and paste. When you say this process, I'm assuming you mean AI, which is what I'm going to put here. To effectively cooperate with AI advancements and ensure Freemasonry's relevance in the future, Freemasons can strategically integrate AI technologies while aligning with their core values of personal development, brotherhood, and charity. Based on the organization's current state, its challenges, e.g., declining membership, perceptions of normative tool, here are actionable ways Freemasons can collaborate with AI moving forward. Leverage AI for outreach and engagement, AI-driven marketing. Use AI tools to analyze demographic trends and create targeted campaigns to attract younger, tech-savvy members. For instance, AI can identify interests of Gen Z or millennials, e.g., community impact, personal growth, and tailor social media content to platforms like X, where curiosity about Freemasonry exists, but is often met with skepticism about its relevance. Personalized recruitment. Implement AI chatbots or recommendation systems on lodge websites to guide potential members through the joining process, answering FAQs and dispelling myths about secrecy. This could address the membership decline by making the process more accessible. Sentiment analysis on X to gauge public perceptions and respond proactively could improve the public image. Enhance the membership. Virtual lodge experiences. Develop AI-powered virtual reality or augmented reality platforms to remote lodge meetings or ritual simulations, making participations easier for members with busy schedules or those in remote areas. This aligns while adapting to the modern digital lifestyles. Personalized learning paths. Use AI to create customized educational tools for members progressing through degrees. AI could offer interactive lessons on Masonic symbolism or ethics, enhancing the focus on self-improvement in a format that resonates with younger. For retention analytics, deploy AI to analyze membership data, identifying patterns of disengagement and predicting at-risk members. Lodges could then offer targeted mentorship or events to boost retention, addressing the aging demographic issue. Amplify charitable impact with AI. Optimize philanthropy. Use AI to identify charitable causes aligned with Masonic values, such as education or healthcare, and optimize fund allocation. For example, AI could analyze community needs and direct the millions donated annually by Masonic charities to where they're most effective. Crowdsourcing community projects. Leverage AI platforms to crowdsource ideas for um, local service projects engaging both members and the public. This could counter perceptions of exclusivity and demonstrate Freemasonry's relevance in addressing modern issues like mental health or environmental sustainability. Preserve traditions while innovating. Digitize Masonic knowledge. I've talked about this a bunch. We absolutely need to spend more time digitizing our Masonic knowledge. The fact that it's just our Masonic information is being so lost, or it has the potential to be lost due to any number of factors, due to damage to water damage, age, fire, theft. Like, we have documents in Freemasonry that are over 100, 200, 300 years old. And if anything happens to the original, to that document, there's no backup. There's no digital preservation of the information there and contained. You also can't really share it easily if it wants to look at it for a research project, or even a Masonic historian wants to look at it for a research project. It's very hard to share it. Whereas if it's digital, you can send an email and you don't need to worry about the original being damaged or lost. You can address public perception with AI. You can use AI to counter misinformation, and you can use AI to develop transparency tools, right? To develop public-facing platforms that explain Freemasonry's values and contributions in an engaging way, reducing the secret society stigma while maintaining ritual privacy. And you can balance tradition and innovation. Freemasonry's traditional rituals and in-person focus resist rapid tech adoption. AI solutions must respect the symbolic core of the organization to avoid alienating existing members. Privacy concerns, over-reliance on AI data, and analytics, I can say, could clash with Masonic values of discretion and trust, requiring clear ethical guidelines. And the digital divide. Older members may struggle with tech adoption, so AI tools should be user-friendly and complement by in-person support. AI's ability to analyze vast data sets, personalized experiences, and enhance communications aligns with Freemasonry's goals to foster brotherhood, personal growth, and community impact. By integrating AI thoughtfully, Freemasons can address their declining membership, modernize their appeal, and amplify their charitable reach, ensuring relevance in a tech-driven world. For instance, X posts show younger users are curious about Freemasonry, but often see it as outdated. AI could bridge this gap by showcasing its values in modern formats. I mean, I don't think we should do that fully, but maybe there's room for that. I'm going to ask Grok, because I'm really curious. What is square and compass promotions? I'm genuinely curious if Grok knows what square and compass promotions is. Let's see. Oh, check that out. Grok knows what I am. It gave 2 answers. Focus on promoting Freemasonry and its relevance to local communities with a particular emphasis on the Windsor Masonic Temple in Essex County, Ontario. Highlights the organization's historical and ongoing contributions to various media engagement efforts. Interesting enough, we do not offer in-person tours of the Windsor Masonic Temple anymore, but we still offer virtual tours, and you can take a virtual tour of the Windsor Masonic Temple by getting in touch. It's $10 per person. You can organize a group outing and e-transfer the funds, where I will answer questions, take you on a tour of the building, all that good jazz. It will be a blast. But it's nice to know that Grok knows who I am. You can find, so again, going to my profile, I just want to share this quickly. Also, follow me on social media. This is my X account. I talk about not just Freemasonry and Stern Compass promotions on here, but I talk about like good stuff. But notice here, um, there's stuff I reposted Voltaire, who was himself a Freemason. I reposted John Cena. Time is our most valuable asset. Be mindful of that when you spend yours or someone else's. I actually mentioned a lot of this when it comes to Freemasonry, how time is our most valuable asset and how we need to preserve it as much as we can, and be mindful of it. But I'm going to stop. I hope you guys found that interesting. Let me know if you did, and let me know. We're back to the Ask Us Anything portion of the stream. So if there's anything you want to talk about, please take a few moments and let me know. Anything positive, negative, or neutral on Freemasonry, I'm happy to try and answer. I can't make any promises I'll know all the answers, but I can at least try my very best to give you my answers based on my experiences as being a Freemason since 2007. Not as much as we'd like, Texas and Ryan. I mean, I think there's room to include virtual meetings and virtual meeting spaces, so long as you are doing so while also not allowing that to replace the in-person. There are, though, Masons who may, for various reasons, struggle with visiting a lodge in person. They may suffer from social anxiety, which is very possible, and just not do well being around people. They may, um, what are some other things? They may just not be able to travel to lodge due to their health, physical health or otherwise. It may be that they live far away and can't travel. They may be older. For any number of reasons, they may not be able to just be present in lodge. Is it worth looking at installing a laptop and a screen or a few screens and inviting people to join the lodge virtually? And is it worth it? Yes, Dad, I think everybody who dislikes AI is sooner or later going to have to um, get over their dislike of AI, for better or worse. Again, I'm much more pro technology than I am otherwise. So when it comes to how younger generations are engaging with Freemasonry, I think we have to divide that a little bit, Texas, between younger Masons who are themselves, so younger generations, younger people who are themselves Freemasons, in which case I think they're engaging with it less and less by attending meetings and more by attending events or communicating about Freemasonry online or on social media. For younger generations who are not Freemasons, I think that they are engaging with it more and more through what is being said about it on social media, both the positive and the negative and the neutral. And it's the same thing. I think we as Freemasons need to be aware of that and meet them where they're at, meet them where they are engaging. So I hope that you guys will take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button if you are new to the stream. If you have any thoughts, any ideas, any comments, please let me know. I will be back on at 1 a.m. I'll be back on my mobile stream. I'm also going to be posting a ton of shorts very soon, talking about some of my favorite Masonic items. Yes, especially during COVID, Texas, you're not wrong. It has been happening since as well, but to not the same extent. I'm a big fan of social gatherings. I organized a lot of really incredible ones. So, well, I mean, I think that they would attend meetings with their iPads, Dad. I think that there are some, though, who, again, maybe cannot attend meetings in person for whatever reason, social anxiety, physical health, mental health, distance from lodge, they're working, but they could spend a couple of hours attending the Masonic Lodge meeting. Or they could spend maybe 20 minutes jumping on an iPad and saying hello, right? And if they're willing to do that, that can be maybe that's the best option if for whatever reason they can't make it in person. Or if there's like a committee meeting of some sort, a board meeting of some sort, maybe temple association meeting of some sort, same thing. They may not be able to attend in person, but they could attend via whatever it might be, via um, an iPad or a phone or something to that extent. I think most of us do, right? For better or worse, social media has simply become a part of our experience, right? It's become a part of his Masonic life. It's just become a part of our life in general, right? Whether it be Freemasonry or work, or there are very few people who could exist and work without some form of social media, whether it be email or Facebook or Twitter or AI or Instagram or who knows what, right? There are very few that could actively do so. Um, and so I think that's just part of what we need to keep in mind. And so hopefully we remember. So I don't think it should be a requirement. I think if we have Masons who speak French, I think that's awesome and we should encourage it. I also think we should do more of our communications in both French and English. I think that stuff makes a huge is a huge deal. Um, I think if you have a lot of Filipino members in your lodge, include a Filipino message in your summons and try to do some communication in Filipino. I've been an argument and a big proponent for ages that we as Freemasons need to spend more time um, um, communicating in diverse languages with our membership or to our membership, right? I think that that is absolutely the most valuable thing that we can do. Or not the most, but one of the most valuable things. And I also think it shows respect to, for example, um, I think it shows respect, for example, to Canada being a bilingual country with two official languages. I think it shows respect to the members who may speak a different language, who may speak French. Also, I think it doesn't hurt to, for example, consider doing some messaging in First Nations languages. But if your lodge has a big Filipino population, show respect to them by communicating in Filipino. I think that I really encourage that. One of the things I'm most proud of is seeing Harmony Lodge do communications in both English and French. Um, well, it's not that they can't. I mean, I've never met a Filipino in Canada or the United States who could not speak English. It's more about respecting the fact that their mother tongue is a different language and showing respect for that. In the same way, I think in Los Angeles, for example, it might behoove Masonic lodges to communicate in Spanish, especially if they have a large Spanish speaking population within the vicinity of their lodge. It's about showing respect. In the same way, let's say you have a large Filipino population in your lodge, you may want to do a few nights where your refreshments are more Filipino than, let's say, I don't know, traditional Canadian food, whatever that may be. It's about respecting the culture of the membership that makes up your Masonic lodge, which I think is worth it. Why? I'm not sure why it's humoring them. I find that a weird way to view it. Because like for me, I can, for example, get off my wheelchair and climb upstairs if there are stairs in a Masonic building, and I've done it a million times. But if a Masonic lodge is good enough to put a ramp in front of the building, I will take advantage of it because I think it shows a level of respect for me as somebody who's attending there, right? It's more about the recognition that people come from a variety of backgrounds. People sometimes like to hear or like to read their mother tongue, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that as an attempt. Well, I'm not sure because the implication you're saying is because they can speak English, and they do well, then putting a message in both English and Filipino is humoring them, which I don't think that's the case. I think putting a message in both English and French, or English and Filipino, or English and whatever it is, would be a recognition of the diverse background of the membership and saying even though you can speak English and we're going to keep the English message obviously, we appreciate that you come from a unique cultural background and hey, here's a chance to celebrate that background. In the same way, having let's say a Filipino night in the lodge where everybody wears traditional Filipino garments instead of a suit and tie and serves traditional Filipino food is a way of respecting the Filipino culture, not humoring it, right? And you could do the same thing across the board. I mean, you could have a French night in lodge. You could have I don't know, an English night in lodge where you serve fish and chips. Um, well, think language is part of culture, right? So whether it be um, so let's say you want to have a Filipino night in your Masonic lodge. Maybe what you do is in your summons, you provide a message in both English and Filipino. Then in lodge, you wear traditional Filipino outfits that you would wear for a special occasion. And then you serve um, food right in the lodge that is traditionally Filipino. Well, I mean, you can do both, but it's more about ways to show respect for the diversity of the lodge, right? And if you say, well, what if you have, let's say, 20 different cultures represented in the lodge and you can't do 20 languages, which is true. What you can do is every summons that you have. So this summons we're going to do English and Filipino. This summons we're going to do English and Spanish. This summons we're going to do English and French. As a way, and then at the lodge, you can even talk a little bit about, okay, this month we did a message in English and Spanish. So we're going to talk about Freemasonry in Spanish speaking countries. right? Such as um, what is Freemasonry like in Mexico? Do we have any Mexican Freemasons or Freemasons here who began their Masonic career in Mexico, um, who want to talk about their experiences, right? Because to me, language is part of culture. So if you're going to celebrate someone's culture, which we should as Freemasons, we should celebrate their language uh, uh, as well. And again, it's not unique. We bring up Philippines because there are so many Filipino Freemasons, but French, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, right? All these things could apply. Um, well, I would say the difference is there's two differences, Mr. Keeps on Ticking, why I'm not doing stuff in English and French. The first is because Freemasonry is a civic organization, which means it's there for everyone, or it's not a business. It's a civic group, which means it should be open to all in various formats. So what that means is, for example, if I go into court, right? If I get called into court, and I don't speak English, the court has a responsibility to provide me with a translator or whatever it is necessary for me to be able to understand what's going on and to be able to respond in kind, because it's a civic/civil organization. Freemasonry is the same thing. It should be there for the whole community. And as such, I'm not saying it has to succeed all the time because nobody's perfect, but it should try to be accommodating of different languages as well as everything else, right? Same thing with sign language. If you have a Mason who is deaf, is it does it behoove or is it incumbent upon the lodge to provide some type of sign language interpretations so it can hear um, um, so he can hear, in quotations, what is being said. I mean, one of my proudest achievements within Freemasonry was when I held a special event to celebrate the Windsor Masonic Temple in 2024. We had messaging both beforehand and the day of in English, in French, and in sign. So people who spoke English could understand, who spoke French could understand, and who were deaf could understand. And that was something I took a great deal of pride in. I was also very proud that when I was the secretary of the lodge, we had, messaging in English and French in our summons. So people got a little bit of both. So I did try to accommodate both languages, English and French. But I'm saying if you have a large Filipino population within your lodge, maybe consider doesn't have to be every message per se, but maybe consider doing a couple messages in Filipino and including within that a Filipino Masonic night where you, again, talk about Filipino culture, Filipino Freemasonry, and provide Filipino food, as well as, French. Again, same thing. When I was secretary, I did accommodate French and English communications. I was very proud of that. But you could do a French night where, again, the message is in English and French, and you talk about Freemasonry in French-speaking countries, Freemasonry in Quebec, in France. Not saying Quebec's a country, but Freemasonry in French-speaking regions, Quebec, France. I believe Morocco and the Ivory Coast, the official language is French, though I could be mistaken. I think it's French in the Ivory Coast for sure. And you provide traditional French foods from those areas. You can do it with Spanish. Um, you could do so with almost any language, right? Communicating in diverse languages, I think, demonstrates respect for the diversity of a Masonic lodge. And I think it's worth it to explore that. So, I wouldn't call it shameful to include in a summons a message in the Filipino language, as well as a message in the French language, as well as a message in the Spanish language. I think calling it shameful is kind of a silly overstatement. You may think every Mason should speak French. I don't necessarily disagree. And I guess when you call me a hypocrite, so be it. I think every Mason should eat healthy, and I often don't eat healthy. So if you want to call it hypocritical or shameful, then I guess I'm hypocritical and shameful. But what I'd say is I try my best. I just don't always succeed. Um, Ryan can look at it as accommodations, right? Which is also why I think we as Freemasons need to invest more in Braille. For example, I'm sure they exist. I've never seen a Masonic ritual book written in Braille. Nor have I ever seen any summons in Braille. But again, you have a blind Masonic lodge member. How is he going to get the written information that is necessary for him to advance in Freemasonry? One thing I was very proud of, though, is when I did my work on. All right, Mr. Keeps on Ticking. We're going to stop the sarcasm now on both accounts. Or we're going to be removing people from the stream. You want to call me names? Go ahead, but no sarcasm towards anybody else in the stream, because we're all adults here. So, yeah, one of the things I was really proud of, though, was when I added the information. When I had the elevator refitted or retrofitted with some new equipment in the Windsor Masonic Temple, we included Braille signage. So not only does it have just the regular signs of like first floor, second floor, third floor, we also have Braille on the signage, so you can feel, so for blind person can use the elevator as well without an issue. Ed, it is not true that Freemasons can't worship Jesus. Many Freemasons do worship Jesus. I know many Christian Freemasons. I would say certainly in Canada, the majority of Freemasons would be of either the Christian faith or would default to being Christian. Like if you ask them if they believe in a supreme being, they would say they believe in God, and their understanding of that would be of the Christian faith, even if they don't necessarily attend church or regularly or anything to that extent. Which is so they're culturally Christian. They again, they believe in a supreme being, and their understanding of what that is probably through a Christian lens. But I do know many Christian Freemasons who actually attend church regularly, attend church all the time. I've known a few who are actually pastors or priests or, leaders of their particular church, and who are, I guess, observant Freemasons is the term I would use to describe it. Observant Christians. So no, many Freemasons worship Jesus, and certainly there's nothing in Freemasonry, in any oath or obligation you would take, that would stop you from worshiping Jesus or any other supreme being that you may, such as, either of the Jewish faith, the Muslim faith, Hindu, Sikh, etc. Thank you, Texas, and thank you, Mr. Keeps, for burying the hatchet. Sarcasm in a stream can be tough because when people can't see you and can't, hear the tones of your voice, they have less information to go by, which is why oftentimes you can find in a stream or in a chat or in a whatever, things can grow when they don't need to. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw the Key and Peele sketch where it's two people texting with each other about going for dinner or something, and one person texts something to the effect of like, "Why haven't you texted me back yet?" And the other person texts, no worries. I was just hanging out. It doesn't matter to me at all. And the first person took that as like an offensive statement, um, and got upset and responded back like, well, do you want to go for dinner or not? Getting more hot and bothered. The other person had no idea he was getting annoyed. So he just took it as a neutral statement. So he responded, I don't care, up to you. And that got the other person more pissed off. And at the end of it, this one person is going for dinner thinking it's going to be a wonderful dinner and everybody's going to have a great time. And the other person is going and getting ready to throw hands and fight the guy because he took the text messages as being rude and disrespectful. And the other person took it as just a regular, typical conversation. So that is one of the challenges of texting when you don't have all the information, when you can't see the person, when you don't have the, when you can't see the person, you can't hear the tone. Sometimes those things can, sometimes things can escalate, which is why, as a general rule, um, your tone, right? See, it does seem like Mr. Keeps on Ticking is keeping up the sarcasm, which I'm not a fan of. So maybe someone needs to just calm down a little bit. That is one of the challenges. That's why sometimes within Freemasonry, even if it is, that's one of the dangers of Freemasonry in a virtual space, especially if the virtual space is messaging. Um, how sometimes it can find its way into more, uh, things can escalate when they don't need to. But let's give it a few more minutes. Let's see if anybody else jumps in the chat to say hello. Hit that like and subscribe button if you are new to the stream. And anything that you guys want to talk about, please let me know. We're just here at the hangout phase of things once again. Well, that wasn't disrespect, Mr. Keeps on Ticking, but saying at the end of it, like calling somebody a genius when I think you're being sarcastic about whether he was a genius, or talking about, yes, Courtney is new to being a Freemason, but I have great respect for anybody who joins being a Freemason, whether they are Freemason for 5 minutes or 5 hours, or the idea of the Masonic hallowed halls sound a little bit sarcastic. I don't think the initial statement was a disrespectful statement. I think saying, adding the word genius on the end was, I don't even say disrespectful, but I think it was sarcastic. I don't mind people being sarcastic towards me on this stream because, it's the, well, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that either, because you don't have to if you're on this stream, then anything I'm talking about is part of your business. But the genius and then the idea of the hallowed halls, was not a fan of that. But I don't think either thing was disrespectful. I think one was a statement. I think the other was sarcasm. I'm not a fan of sarcasm. So Mr. Keeps on Ticking, this is my stream. So like I said, I can, put both of you guys in timeout. And keep in mind, Courtney did bear the hatchet up above, right, where he said no problem. So let's leave it. I think Mr. Keeps on Ticking had his feelings a little bit hurt. So fair enough. But yeah, that is one of the challenges of streaming. So we keep everything, like I said, you can address me, but don't be addressing each other, at least not in kind of unkind tones, if you will. Like Ryan said, right? We can't hear your tone, so be careful. Um, what is my favorite meal in Windsor? Probably, um, there you go. Don't mess with Lord Square. I mean, my favorite meal in Windsor. Part of me feels like I have to say pizza just out of default because Windsor pizza is so famous. Um, uh, I'm gonna go with Windsor pizza. So Ed, I believe Freemasonry can be used for good and bad. My question is, does the good outweigh the bad? Where is your favorite meal in Windsor? Oh, sorry, does it go? So, I mean, yes. I don't think Freemasonry can be used for bad. I think Freemasonry can be used for good or just not used at all, which is perfectly, fine in the sense that definitely not pizza with ranch. In the sense that people who um, what's the word I'm looking for? If like it's not like a hammer in the sense that you can either use it to put a nail in a piece of wood, not use it at all, or use it to hurt somebody. It's more like I'm trying to think of what example I can give. Like if you can either use it for good, or if you're not using it, that's bad in that it's not contributing what it can to society. But it's not being used. Like it's very hard to use Freemasonry for bad. But you can not use it and not take advantage of it, which is bad in and of itself. So, um, in that sense, what I think I would say is Freemasonry is Freemasonry. The good definitely outweighs the bad. It just depends on the extent to which it is being used for um, the extent to which it's being if it's not being used, then it's being wasted. And if it's being wasted, then unfortunately, that is a negative because Freemasonry is not contributing what it can to society. Right. And that is a very dangerous thing. When you have, there's this quote, I think it was by Voltaire, who said, "We are responsible for all the good we do not do," which in the same way with Freemasonry, it's one of those things where we are we are responsible for all the good we don't do. We are responsible for all the Freemasonry we do not grow. That's true, but I think Freemasonry is unique because Freemasonry is a civic organization, and a civic organization is not like other tools, including AI. It's more almost like a category of thing, right? I think inherently a civic organization is almost always a good thing. It's more if it's not being used, if that makes sense. Like I wouldn't consider Freemasonry as a tool per se. I'd almost say it's more like a category of tools or a cat. It's kind of like I don't know the best way to describe this. If I can think of something, I will um, let you know. That's true. You are a Mason. However, when because this stream is not exclusive to Masons, if a non-Mason has an idea, positive or negative, either about Freemasonry or about what I'm saying, then he gets the right to say it, and it is as much his business as everybody else's. Right? It's different in a lodge format, where if you're in a Masonic lodge, obviously a non-Mason does not get to say anything. But many non-Masons may have valuable insights into Freemasonry, either in terms of a civic, oh, excuse me, got something stuck in my throat. either in terms of like a civic minded approach. So they may be part of other organizations and have seen what works and doesn't work in them. They may just base their personal experiences, or they may just be full of nonsense, right? But either way, they still get the chance to say their piece on um, what they have the view of as, with Freemasonry and what their thoughts are. And if they think, for example, communicating in multiple languages is not a good idea, for whatever reason, then they get the right to say that. I get the right to disagree with them, but they get the right to say that, right? For example, even with Ed, when he talks about, I don't know if he's a Freemason or not. I'm assuming he's not. He certainly gets to have an opinion on Freemasonry and a view on Freemasonry, right? I've been a Mason for almost 20 years, and I still very often find myself being given good ideas from non-Masons. And that's even on this stream, like Black River Meditation has given me some very good ideas that I've tried to apply in my Masonic path. So everybody, whether they're a Mason or not, on this platform gets to have a say. Whether they're right or not is a whole different thing. No, Mr. Keeps is not a Mason. Right, Mr. Keeps is not a Mason himself. Brother Adam is, right? So whenever anybody says anything, even if it's rude or disrespectful, it's okay. You don't, right? You still respect their right to say it, and you appreciate the fact that they're saying it. And if anybody starts to get cranky with anybody else on the stream, that's when we start to give some timeouts, even if, because I love you, Texas, and I love Mr. Keeps, but there's no need to be, saying anybody can or can't say anything on the stream. If they start to swear or anything like that, that's when the moderators get involved. No, I meant Alexander the Great was a Freemason. Okay, yeah, I don't think he was. Freemasonry didn't exist until 1717. Alexander the Great was significantly older than that. He showed up in what? 333 BC, he passed away. So, I mean, so I do not believe Alexander the Great was a stonemason, but it's really interesting, historically in that way. It was fascinating to see. I mean, I used to love ancient Roman and ancient Greek history. I think one of the greatest what ifs that we've ever seen in life is what would have happened if Alexander the Great traveled west instead of east and traveled towards the Roman Empire? Would he have managed to defeat ancient Rome? I don't know. Right? I don't know the case if he would have or would have not been able to. Would he have been able to defeat the ancient Roman Empire? My suspicion is he would not have. I mean, I wish I had Alexander the Great's sword, but no, he passed away in 333 BC. Interestingly, one of his generals, Ptolemy, took over Egypt, which is why all of the Egyptian princes and pharaohs were Greek for the next couple hundred years. But ancient Egypt obviously has a what's the word I'm looking for? Ancient Egypt has a great deal of relationships to and with Freemasonry. So ancient Egypt and Freemasons connect in many ways. So the fact that you have so many Masonic and Egyptian connections is really, really cool. Oops, let me just come back here for 1 second. History is very, very cool. So he was born in 356. He died in 333. I think they say he was poisoned, if I'm not mistaken, is what the thought is. Whether that was the case or not, I do not know. Um, but I think there was some implication that that was the idea that he was poisoned. Again, I don't know if he was or not. But I mean, he again, I think the connection is obviously when it comes to Alexander the Great, it's Alexander the Great and um, it's Alexander the Great and Egypt. And from a Masonic perspective, the fact that we have uh, um, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, Egypt and Freemasonry have so many connections that it's easy sometimes to forget about them or forget about the amazing ancient Egyptian history that exists, which is why I've actually done a few interviews with Egyptologists. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. Uh, I hope that you guys are doing well. Let me know if you want to chat about Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have, positive, negative, or neutral, I would love to hear. See, I've heard it was poison, but again, I could eat like mushroom soup or something, but I could be completely wrong, and it's been a long time. Um, oh, that's okay, Texas. No worries. No worries at all. If your phone is acting wonky, it's no trouble. I mean, I think also this stream might be acting a little bit um um funky sometimes. I don't know for sure because I feel like there might be some lag happening. So it's probably not your phone. Let me just check. I'm curious about something. Um, I'm tracking your delivery right now because I just put it. I just want to make sure it's in the system. Yes, it is. Uh, it's in transit as of today. It was accepted at the Windsor post office. So let me share with you um, this in your Instagram. You'll see the message I sent you with the link to track your item. So um, hopefully you will find that. Like I said, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened with the first one. I was kind of annoyed, but I sent you, like I said, another package. Who knows? Maybe you'll get both packages. It wouldn't shock me at all if you end up um, um, so you might get, 4 coins and stuff. I'm just showing off a quick message to somebody. Yes, arsenic by his half brother. Um, I mean, yeah, I heard mushroom soup or something. I'm just sending a quick message, but I promise I'll be back. Um, well, yeah, like I said, you got the link on your Instagram, so you can track it as well as I can. Um, Oh, well, so Ryan, I have my Patreon account, and anybody who becomes a paid Patreon member receives special correspondence and special gifts, especially if you are at the $5 a month tier or above. If you want to become a free Patreon member, you can as well, Ryan, and that would be very helpful. And I would truly appreciate that also. Um, we can become a Patreon member for free, Ryan. You don't have to pay for anything. And even then, one thing you get access to is special, like I do links and I do stuff that I don't talk to anybody, like to the regular audience doesn't see. It's very easy to join. I can show you how. But if you want to join the patreon.com/runcompass, you do get access to special messages and polls. And when, for example, a Patreon gives me a piece of advice or something they want to check on, more so than, I might take a look at that first before I take a look at anything else. So, like, for example, I have a Patreon poll up right now. What topic do you want to see Square and Compass Promotions cover next? Masonic history is at 67%. Concerns me most about Freemasonry is at 33%. So because that's a patron poll, what I may do is cover that for the next, for example, 24-hour live stream. All right, guys, we're going to give it another, let's say, 5 minutes. We're just going to see who else joins. And then we're going to be leaving the stream. I will be back on at 1 a.m. So we will likely be having but yeah, Ryan, if you go to patreon.com/runcompass, it will give you the opportunity to become a free Patreon member. It's a blast. Like I said, you get access to a lot of things you don't get access to otherwise. But I do hope everybody is having a great day who's watching this. Please take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Um, and let me know how it's going. Give it another 5 minutes. We'll do a 3-hour stream. Let's see if anybody else jumps on and anything that they want to talk about. I will see you guys. Yes, I'll see you, Texas Freemason, on the next episode. I will see everybody on the next episode. We're going to do the next episode at 1 p.m. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And don't forget, I will be having a bunch of YouTube shorts talking about my favorite Masonic items. Uh, I did my 24-hour stream where I talked about all those items and went through the entire collection. This is going to be a series of shorts. Each one's going to be 1 minute, and it's going to be talking about, the one item at a time, why I love them, why I think they're cool. And yeah, it's going to be, I think, a lot of fun. So I hope that you guys will check out those shorts, and maybe I'll see you at 1 a.m. if you want to stay up that late. If you don't want to stay up that late, don't worry about it. Just get yourself some sleep. And I will talk to everybody soon. And one more time, thank you so much to the City of Windsor for installing that trash can. I know it seems like a small thing. Small things matter. Little things matter. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all soon.